Welcome back to the show, the In the Clinic podcast with Rob. And I'm super pumped for today. I'm super fired up. I'm ready to rumble. I'm ready to go. I feel like Muhammad Ali, sting like a butterfly, float like a bee. I feel like Mike Tyson. You know, everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth. Feeling good. You know, I'm fully caffeinated. I'm fully, rested. Got some good rest yesterday, and I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. So be ready for today. And I have a lot to talk about. It's been the changing of the guard. It's springtime. It's time to start getting ready for cleaning up the yard. It's time to let that heat hit you. Maybe that nap that's out on the back deck when the sun's hitting your face and the light breeze that's going through that just says rest. Yep, had that yesterday. Felt awesome. So I'm excited for spring, but as a lot of people know, spring means softball. So my wife and I are longtime coaches, longtime varsity softball coaches. We've been doing this together for 20 years, I'd say. And it's been off and on from coaching junior high, coaching varsity softball, coaching junior high softball, coaching club teams, all the way down to my son's, little league team. So, if it has a ball and it's round and you throw it overhand or underhand, yeah, we usually coach it. So right now we're fired up. We're in the middle of or the start of our varsity softball team, softball season, and I'm excited. I'm excited because we've had sunny days lately. We've had some good times already, from moving from the gym right into the field. My dad, who's fantastic, comes and does a field for us every day. I mean, the girls, what a luxury it is to have a field that's dragged every single day, that for the games he comes and lines them. I mean, it's just a huge asset to have him on our side that helps us with whatever needed. But this year's a challenging year. It's going to be challenging for the girls because we got a lot of youth. We have 3 seniors that have returned, and they're going to be important seniors for us on teaching our younger girls on truly how to compete and what it's like to play at the varsity level. And it's interesting because we have, over the majority of our team, our varsity team, are freshmen and sophomores. I mean, we started our last game with 6 sophomores and freshmen that were starting in the field. So when you look at that, there's a lot of inexperience related to the varsity level, but these freshmen have played a lot of ball. They've played a lot of important ball, club ball. So I believe they're going to come up and continue to do great things. They're already competing at a high level, and I don't see much fear in their eyes, and that's important. So, for this year, we've done a lot of coaching related to the mental side of the game, the mental side of what it takes to fail, essentially. So on that side, softball's been going well. I had a day where I was driving down to Spokane with my daughter, and it was a spring day. The sun was just right. It was flying up overhead. I visioned the valley that's out in front of us, the mountains that are the landscape that comes up, and I'm seeing the trees. I'm seeing everything so clearly from the brightness of the sun. And it's one of those perfect spring days where the sky is clear. There's brightness from the sun. Everything looks crisp. You're getting warmth. And it reminded me of my father-in-law. It really did remind me of my father-in-law, Terry Lawson. And this day in particular would have been a perfect day to fly. Perfect day. Now people that know Terry had his own Cessna 206 that you could always see up at the Colville Airport, that on a day like that, he was up in the air. Clear, warm, bright. That was his day. And there was a lot of days in my 20 years that I spent, up in the airplane flying with him. And it was one of those days where it just kind of reminded me of how good life can be and how precious it can be. And I had a second one of those moments when my daughter was telling me, she said, "Dad, did you hear about the boy that got hit by a car?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "Yeah, it's actually one of my classmates' brothers, and they were out, Williams Lake Road out there. They live out Williams Lake Road, and they were riding their bike and just playing, just being kids. And an individual that was intoxicated drove by and ended up hitting them, and he passed away from that accident." So you look at that stuff. You look at those parts of life. You look at how precious life truly can be, and how quickly it can be gone. And those are the moments that you just got to appreciate. The sun on your face, the brightness of the sky, the changing of the guard, the spring development, the new life that comes. You see the grass getting green. You see the new flowers starting to pop up. Those irises are the first that start poking their head. And it just changes your perspective and allows you to appreciate the goodness in life. And that's an area that when you have the sunshine and you're driving to Spokane and it reminds you, you get that nostalgia from the past, you just got to appreciate those. And you've got to live in that moment right at the time that you have that greatness, because it's not always guaranteed. So anyway, switching gears, let me get back to softball. So with coaching, we spend a lot of time on the mental side. I mentioned that earlier. And, we try to increase wisdom in a way. It's a funny thing about life that when you're young, you have a ton of energy, and you have so much energy that you can waste it, and you can be reckless with your self and your energy. I mean, you heal quicker. You don't get tired as easy. You don't need as much sleep. I mean, your energy is in abundance in a way, but your wisdom is low. And your wisdom is low because your life experience is low. So it's hard to match that. If you look at the counter to that is you take your 80, 90-year-old that has so much wisdom, so much life experience, so much that they live through, but their energy is low. And when you look at this paradox, there's a honey hole in your midlife area. And for some, it's sooner than others. That there's a point where you have a high amount of wisdom, not all of your wisdom, but you have a high amount of wisdom and you have a high amount of energy. So when you look at those two, it's kind of when you're in your prime. That's the best way I could say it. I equate it to an athlete that's in their prime, where their wisdom meets their athletic ability. It all comes together. And you see that for basketball players, football players in that late 20s to early 30s, sometime in there. For other individuals, it could be a little bit later. It could be in their 40s, for regular life, where you still have energy and wisdom. So the key for us with coaching is we want to impart wisdom to help them accelerate their lives. And it's hard. It's hard to get perspective when you don't have any. It's hard to have wisdom when you don't have a lot of life experience. So some of these things you have to learn on your own. Some of these things you learn through the failures. So I look at one of the talks that we had not too long ago that I indicated to our team is that a lot of people, they want gold, but then in the end they settle for silver or bronze. They want gold, but when it comes down to it of putting in the work, putting in the energy, putting in the time, the mental fatigue, the physical fatigue, the humility, to put that in, what happens is sometimes they realize it's too much. It's too much. Or maybe I don't want it that bad, and that's okay. A lot of people want gold, but they'll settle for silver. And it's not bad if you settle for silver. You have to decide what problem you want. What problem do you want? Do you want to put all of your energy in to be the player that you want to be so that you can start on varsity and be an all-star? But in order to do that with your athletic ability, it might come with a consequence. And the consequence means that you're playing on extra teams, that you're traveling a lot, you're not seeing your friends, you're tired, you're physically tired, you're mentally tired. And you might be doing this at the same time as other things are going on. It will not be perfect. It will not be easy. And with that, at times, they have to decide, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth the squeeze? Because everything comes at a cost. Your time, your friends, and there's no guarantee. You could put in all the time, energy, and effort that you want to, and maybe you still don't get as good as you thought you would. So, the biggest obstacle I see for young athletes, and this really is also for adults, it is truly hard to win an argument against yourself. It's truly hard to win an argument against yourself. And the reason is we will tell ourselves what we want to hear to make it easier. We kind of fake ourselves out, and it's hard once that creeps in to get past it. It really is. So one of the biggest lessons that we've hit on is decide, are you wanting gold or are you wanting silver? And then you got to put the energy into it. You got to put so much effort into it if you want the gold. And it comes at a cost. It does not come easy. Look at a lot of the greats. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Derek Jeter. They put so much energy into it that it comes at a social cost. They're not as connected with their friends. They're not as connected with their family. Tiger Woods. It does come at a cost. Gold comes at a cost. And you have to decide if you want that cost. A lot of times the great transcendent athletes, they're dysfunctional. They're great at their sport, but they're dysfunctional in their lives. And you can find the outliers. You haven't seen LeBron crack. Seems that he's got things together with his family and has the bigger picture. But LeBron's come with criticism that he's never be Michael. He'll never be Kobe. He doesn't have the killer instinct. But they have to decide what they want in their lives. And that comes to the second point that we made. That I told our athletes that I want them to get so secure with their self that they can waste it on failure. I want them to get so secure with who they are that they can waste it on failure, that they can be courageous. I want them to be courageous, not just in softball, but in their lives. And I related this to money. If you wanted high dollar designer jeans, they were it. Oh my gosh. These I want, they're so important to me. And they're $297. And you only had $300 in your bank account. And you still had food that you had to buy, different life expenses. The ability to go and buy those jeans, you'd really have to weigh and say, I don't know if the value's there. I don't know if I want to buy those. But if you had $3 million in the bank, you would look at those designer jeans. Oh, they're only $297. Maybe I'll get 2 of them. Maybe you wouldn't even wear them. And the reason I bring this up is that just like with money, when it's in abundance, we tend to waste it. We tend to buy things that we don't need. We tend to be more reckless because we have money to burn. That's how I want our athletes to be in their lives. That's how I want people to be in their lives. To get so secure with who they are that they can waste it on failure. that they can waste it being courageous, trying new things, getting excited about something that nobody else is excited about, getting outside of yourself to the point where you don't care if you fail. It doesn't matter. That they see the failure is the growth, is the process. I'm glad I failed because now I'm getting stronger. Now I'm getting more secure. Now I'm understanding what I need to do. It's everything. It is everything. 1, to be able to accept yourself. 2, to be able to accept failure. But it's hard. It is hard. It is hard to not listen to the opinions of others. I have an athlete that told me the other day, I haven't been playing as much. And my grandmother, every time I have a game, she asks me, did you play? And the games that I tell her that I didn't, she says, well, you should quit. You should just quit. And she's like, well, no, I actually enjoy the team and stuff. Well, I don't like Rob. I think it's Rob. You should just quit because I don't like Rob. And it's curious to me because this is an individual I've never even met. I've never even personally met her face to face. But for whatever reason, she does not like me. Doesn't like my coaching, doesn't like my style, maybe doesn't like my facial hair. Maybe doesn't like the sound of my voice. Bet she doesn't listen to my podcast. But the point that I'm making is that it's hard. It is hard to accept criticism or have people say negative things about you and to not take it personally. And the great Clyde Brown, who was a mentor to me, who was a student of the game, student of life, who passed away earlier this year. Love him to death. And he said to me one time, which I believe is a John Wooden quote, that the opinion of others is no business of mine. And I love that quote. I love it. Because you're going to get that. And I tell our athletes, you're going to get people that want to come tell you, so-and-so is saying this about you. So-and-so thinks this about you. So-and-so believes this about you. And the best thing you can do is tell them that their opinion is no business of mine. Their opinion of me is no business of mine. Because it doesn't matter really in your life. That's for them to work through. Their own insecurities, their own issues, their own problems. That's for them to work through, not for you. But it's hard. It's hard. I care about our athletes. I care about the impact that we have in them. I care about the legacy that we're leaving. I truly do. And have an athlete that has negativity outside of the field that is telling them actively to quit, that if it's not in your best self-interest, quit. And we get this year after year. We get parents. We get grandparents that will tell their athletes, if you're not getting what you want, if you're not playing, the coach doesn't play you enough, you're not playing the right position, you're not in the right spot in the lineup, quit. And I humbly disagree with the parents and the grandparents that tell our players this. See, the magic in a team sport is not in the individual, but in the collective growth as a team. I look at one of the greatest inspirations that I had in my life in team sports that really shaped my understanding as a player and a coach is from 2 individuals I went to high school with by the name of Aaron Powell and Sean Richards. Both these individuals were in my grade. Both these individuals played basketball, and from the 7th grade on, they would come out for the team every year. In 7th grade basketball, they both made the B team. In 8th grade basketball, they both made the B team. In 9th grade basketball, they were cut. They were cut from the team. They came back out as sophomores and were cut from the team. They came out as juniors and were cut from the team. Aaron Powell asked, can I be a manager? I just want to be a part of things. Can I be a manager? As seniors, they came out for the team. And through attrition and other areas and continuing to work on their skills, Sean Richards made the team. He made the team as a post player, as a 4. Aaron Powell was cut. He was cut. And Aaron said, can I be a manager? I'd like to still manage. I'd like to be a part of things. And this is a story and a lesson that every time I tell it, I get goosebumps. If I could show them on our video cast today, I get goosebumps. Because what transpired from this is inspirational. You have 2 individuals, and they're both really good friends. One that consistently failed over and over and over and eventually made the team. And one that consistently failed over and over and over and didn't, and still said, I just want to be a part of it. I just want to be a part of it. So what happened? How did this story end? This team was fantastic. This team led the league, lost very little games, and was stacked. They had multiple individuals that had played college basketball at a Division I level, and the ones that didn't played Division I football. Had a lot of athletes. And what transpired is they ended up going to districts, winning districts, and they went to state. I grew up in Moscow, Idaho. Moscow had never won a state championship in basketball for men. They went to the state tournament, and they made it all the way to the state championship. And on that game, in the state championship, Don Dudley, who is one of the greatest coaches I've ever had, personally coached me, looked at Aaron Powell and said, Aaron, you have been our manager all year. You've filled in when we need an extra player. You've ran our practices. You've ran our plays. Here's a jersey. You're now on the team. Oh, man. Bumps. The whole team excited, cheered. And what's awesome is that in the state championship game, Aaron Powell, who had just wanted to be a part of things, who had been cut every single year, they put him in towards the end because they were beating the team pretty good. And Aaron caught a ball on the baseline and made a shot where he scored a basket in the state championship game and started the year as a manager. Been cut every year for 4 straight years. I mean, to me, that's what it's about. To me, that's what it's about. It's the bond. It's the connection. It's overcoming adversity. But it's also learning about yourself. My biggest regrets in my life and in my sports is not having the courage that Aaron and Sean had. Not having that courage to accept failure. Not being so secure with myself that I could waste it on failure. Man, you have 2 individuals, Sean and Aaron, that at a young age had wisdom. High school had wisdom. They had a big picture. And that truly is what we're looking to help to do. We're helping to impart that wisdom onto the players to the point where it helps them in their whole lives. So whether it's myself that's in my early 40s, that have grandparents that tell their kids to quit because they don't like me, it does hurt. It stings. I'm not immune to it. But all I can say is that my intent is noble. My energy is there. And what I want to do for every player that's playing this sport is to make a connection with them that they see that they have an advocate for their lives for life. As long as there's air in my lungs and there's a beat in my heart, I'll be an advocate for them. Okay. When we return, I want to dovetail into this, into kindness. Why does kindness even matter? And I also want to give you a couple updates on our employee wellness. How are we doing? How's my Achilles doing? How's Emily's 5K going? When we return.
This
helps mainly with back pain with those symptoms. Again, shooting pain down the leg or any type of back stiffness, low back pain. Never during the decompression should we have pain. If we have pain, that's what the button's for, peak. And we really want to put our patient in a position of comfort and then decompress. And that's going to give the most maximal benefit to the individual with any type of low back. And we're back to the show. Super pumped. Last segment, really like that. Coaching's in my blood. I love what it does for other individuals. I love what it does for myself. I enjoy imparting wisdom onto the next generation. And it's super interesting because the amount of energy I get from coaching is there. Coaching is challenging, though. It's challenging. You put all your time, energy, and effort into something, and there's no guarantees on the outcome, but also in the impact that you're making for others. You don't always know. So I see coaching as it's really, put money in the bank. And if you just keep saving your money, next thing you know, you look behind you and you've got riches sitting in there. You've got a load of riches. And I'm hopeful that the investment that we're continuing to make into young individuals makes a difference in their lives. And, when they return with their families back to Colville, they'll look us up and they'll talk about it. They'll talk about those experiences and the enjoyment that they had during that time. But let me dovetail into kindness. Kindness is something I want to touch on because it's often overlooked. Kindness is seen as weakness. It's typically seen that the kindest individuals are the weakest individuals. That if you're kind, you get walked all over. You get walked all over. And you hear that, gosh, I'm always so nice to so and so, and the only thing I ever get out of being nice is people walk all over me. And here's the rough fact about kindness. Kindness is truly undefeated. Kindness is never lost. Ever. And truly, if it's kindness, it can't lose. And I'll explain why. If you are being kind to gain something, if I be nice to them or I do this nice gesture for them, they owe me. Now when I ask for something, they owe me. That's not kindness. That's manipulation. See, true kindness, it costs nothing. It really does. Their response to your kindness is not your concern. You can be kind to somebody that's truly a jerk. You can be kind to somebody that doesn't appreciate you. You can be kind to somebody that didn't even want your kindness. They could be upset at your kindness. They could be frustrated by your kindness. But truly, kindness is undefeated because it does not require them to give you the proper response. Kindness is undefeated. It's undefeated. You can be kind in any circumstance. And if you're looking for a certain response because of your kindness, that's manipulation. If you're expecting people to now do things for you because of what you've done for them, that's not kindness. It's not kindness. Think about the circumstances that you have in your life where somebody has done you wrong, quote unquote. I'm giving the fingers. What was your response? Anger, frustration, outrage, vengeance. What are your feelings? We all have them. We're human. We have them. But did you respond kindly? Is kindness truly weakness, or is it a strength? See, I see kindness as a superpower. Kindness is a superpower. Because when you're kind to people in a tense situation, they're not anticipating kindness. It throws them off guard. When you're truly giving kindness to individuals that are doing you wrong, quote unquote, that are being rude to you, that are frustrating you, it takes so much strength to do that. We're human. It does. It takes strength. It's a superpower because it will pay you dividends. If you're looking for something to gain the fact that with your self-control and that the way that you respond to others, you're just paying it forward. You're paying it forward. Your kindness will return to you. And if you want to call it your aura, you want to call it karma, you want to call it biblical principles, whatever. Whatever you want to call it, that's fine. But kindness will return to you. You will. The key, though, is you just can't be looking for a result. Kindness is undefeated. Continue to give it a shot. Okay, let's switch gears and let's touch on our employee wellness. So this whole month of March, we've touched on as far as employee wellness because our health matters too. It does. And we're no different. We're no different. To think that because I'm a physical therapist, I don't have any aches and pains and problems. We do. We do. And what do you know about anybody in a field? Who the carpenter's house never has everything finished. The chiropractor's wife always has a hurt neck. And it goes on and on. The air conditioning's, the HVAC's wife always has the thermostat broken. It's the way it is. And so as a physical therapist, we're going to have ailments too. And what do? We tend to ignore them. We do. We don't always take the time in our own lives. So we made a purposeful pact that for the month of March that we're going to get after it. Whatever our wellness we want to do, it's up to them. It doesn't have to be an aches and pain. It could just be a goal. Could be our goal to improve our overall wellness. So you look at Emily. Emily wants to do a 5K run. So she's been training for that. And if you look on her Facebook page at Sumner PT, then you'll see that she's been training. Ryan, I had talked about his scapular pain that he has from being in a position here. So he's been working on posture, but also some of the scapular exercises that he's doing. Myself, I developed Achilles Tendinitis from playing basketball with my daughter and pick up basketball. And I've got my guy Rye and Tyler. They've been working on different soft tissue work to my calf, into my ankle, into my Achilles. Been hitting the light stretches, the eccentric activity that we've been doing. So all in all, we're making a dent. You look at Tyler, who's training for a strongman, working on strength training in the gym. So all in all, it's been very positive. If you look at the last email I sent out, that every Wednesday I sent out just a weekly tips email, and I gave a couple pictures there as well from Ryan working on my ankle. So, the employee wellness, I'm very pleased with it. I'm happy that we're getting the participation from staff, and it's making a difference in their lives. I'm seeing that Nessa's getting her shoulder worked on. I'm seeing Tyler improving his health. I'm seeing each individual in our clinic starting to take care of their needs because it's important. Our health matters as well. So if you want to learn more about that, check over on our Facebook page. I got different pictures, different videos, different updates on that as well. And that's at sumnerpt.com. Or Sumner PT on Facebook. You can find us. All right, when we return, I'm going to get into knee swelling. Yeah, it's that time of year. We've got change in pressure. We've got to change. We got rain some days not. Barometric pressure changes. So what's the deal? What's the deal? How do we help with our knee swelling? What do we do? When do we seek help? What are things that we could do at home when we return? And we're back to the show. Super pumped with the way the show's going already. I mean, gosh, we've gone through, some of the lessons that we give our softball players. Wisdom on life. Wisdom. It's critical. By no means do I have the answers, but you know what? There's a lot of good stuff out there, and when it's gone from learning to application, and then you see the direct benefits of some of the wisdom on kindness, on your own self-growth, it's important. I mean, gosh, it's been a big deal right now for people to talk about mental health, talk about our own self-care. I touched on our employee wellness. I mean, all that stuff matters. It matters. So if there's any part that I come across that's helped me in my life, by golly, I'm going to share that. And the best place to share it is in untouched ears. In our high school students, that while we're coaching, I'm just slowly, I call it the slow drip. It's a slow drip process of just adding wisdom little by little by little, because I want them to win. And that's another area that I've touched on. I want them to win. You should not have to tear down somebody else's building to build up your own. We can all win. We can do it. So overall, I'm again pleased with the way the show's going, and let's switch gears and get into water on the knee. We've heard this a lot. Water on the knee. I got water on the knee. Or effusion. Or swelling. We've heard this a lot. And what do we know? It's spring fever's coming upon us. I already talked about earlier in the show, the sunshine hitting my face, the increased warmth, those longer days. And that better weather just inspires us. If anybody knows me long enough, I have a couple basic tenets. There's a couple things I absolutely love. Newborn babies, morning sunshine, hitting that sweet spot on a baseball, and that first strike when I'm fly fishing. Just boom, yes, they're here. And I don't know about each one of them. I don't know why I gravitate towards them. I've tried to analyze it, but I guess a lot of them has to do with potential. I think it leads to my mind likes the anticipation and the overall potential that each one of those can show. From a newborn baby, the morning sunshine, sweet spot on a baseball, that first strike with fishing. But I left one more thing that I really enjoy, and that's springtime. Springtime's another one of my favorites because of its potential. You're starting to get that new growth. You're getting the grass is getting green. It's getting warmer. The days are getting longer. And it just shows us that there's hope. There's potential now coming out of the darkness from winter, snow, cold. It tends to be a drag. It really does. We try and make the most of it. We try and ski. We try and, snowmobile and do different things. But it does. Eventually it wears on you. Why do you think people get seasonal depression? It's dark. It's cold. It's snowy. So again, springtime, we tend to see more knee injuries. We do. We see more knee injuries because you're not cooped up in home anymore. And you've gone from this period of inactivity to now it's like, let's go get it. Let's go clean up the yard. Let's do some spring cleaning. But why do we get more swelling? More irritation? More effusion? Well, first let's touch on effusion. What really is effusion? And effusion is that swelling that occurs inside the joint capsule. So the knee itself is encapsulated, meaning that it has a whole bunch of ligaments that are tightly woven together that surrounds the knee that doesn't allow any fluid to escape. The fluid inside of it is synovial fluid, and that fluid is constantly being replenished, constantly. So overall, that lubrication helps with providing nutrients for the joint and assists with the overall health of the joint. That fluid inside is in a constant inflow and outflow of regulation. And that's a process that keeps the same amount of fluid in the knee at all times. As the body uses the fluid for different nutrients, the capsule circulates in new nutrient-dense fluid. So it keeps this constant inflow and outflow of fluid, and it keeps the joint healthy overall. It's essentially what it's doing. But knee effusion, or water on the knee, occurs when the knee's traumatized. And that capsule, that fluid becomes excessive inside that capsule. That fluid is then trapped and can't travel to any parts of the body. So you can't just push it out of there. You can't just wear a knee sleeve and it's going to smush it out of there. It's trapped in the capsule. And it's a problem because it can become painful. And it's painful due to that enlargement occurring to the joint capsule. So picture your joint capsule. So picture it as a balloon. And it's filling up with fluid, or filling up with air. And that capsule is very thick, and truly it doesn't stretch very much. So picture a balloon that doesn't really expand very well. It's super dense and thick. Adding more fluid will push against the joint capsule and attempt to extend it. What really occurs then? Pressure. As it tries to distend against a thick, dense, non-elastic capsule, you get pressure. And that creates joint pain. So people that get effusion get joint pain, lots of pain. That distension of the capsule is the primary root of the pain that they're having overall. And that joint effusion occurs due to any irritation to the joint capsule within the knee. The swelling truly is a protective mechanism, but is not an indicator of severity of the damage. It's not. Effusion can occur from a slight irritation to significant ligament damage, either one. So we can't really infer the severity through just having swelling in the knee. And what I hear sometimes, my doctor won't drain my knee. Why won't they drain my knee? Now, that knee effusion is genuinely a fluid regulation issue. It's the inflow and outflow process within the joint capsule. And when it gets disrupted, there's more inflow than outflow. So naturally, the joint will slowly distend as a consequence. You'll get more pressure. It'll swell as a consequence. And many of my patients are confused about why their doctor will not drain that fluid. Some doctors will drain the fluid if the distension becomes too great, if the pain becomes too great. But the challenge is that the fluid does return. And with each poke of the needle, that increases the chance of infection inside your body. So therefore, draining, or quote-unquote draining, is called aspiration. So therefore, that aspiration of the joint is not always favored unless pain becomes way too great. But please note, this is a Band-Aid, and it's not a long-term strategy. Knee inflammation and joint irritation will continue to disrupt the inflow and outflow of fluid to the capsule. So the true key is we need to reduce the irritation. In order to take care of the amount of swelling you're getting, we have to stop the irritation to the joint capsule or the joint itself. So here we go. I'm going to give you five strategies to eliminate effusion to the knee. Here are my top 5. Rob's Super 5. Number 1, nobody likes this one. Rest. Knee effusion continues to stay in the joint for as long as the body continues to have inflammation or irritation. The more the joint remains inflamed, the longer effusion will be present. So resting the joint is essential to reducing inflammation and the return to the prior level of activity that you wanted to do. So number 1, there has to be a level of rest. Okay? Number 2, avoidance. Another fan favorite, not. Avoidance, and this complements rest. But this helps reduce the irritation to those exacerbating factors. Part of the process of lowering knee effusion is to avoid painful activities. Typical activities to avoid are weight-bearing activities. ascending, descending stairs, deep squatting, long standing with non-supportive shoes for, flats or slippers, increasing walking more than usual. These activities will only increase pressure to the joint and reduce the healing timeframes overall. So we want a level of avoidance. And if you can't avoid the weight-bearing activity that you're doing, what you truly want to do is add an assisted device. So you might need to use a walker. You might need to use a crutch. You might need to use a cane. And a lot of people don't want to use those things because it makes them look old. I don't want to look old. But the key is, do you want to get better? Do you want to reduce that irritation? Do you want to stop the effusion to your joint? And by using a cane in the opposite hand can reduce your overall weight bearing to that involved knee up to 50%. Up to 50%. That's huge. 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 So if you want to learn more on how to use your cane, fit your cane, or your crutch, I do have a couple videos on our YouTube page as well. Just look up Sumner Specialized Physical Therapy on YouTube, and it'll pop up. But there is some on there, and I'll put a link here into this podcast as well at the bottom for people to take a look on our main page. Number 3, strategies to eliminate effusion to the knee. A knee sleeve. So a knee sleeve will not remove the effusion overall. So let me not fake you out there. Now that swelling is encapsulated. I talked about it earlier, and it has really nowhere to go, but it can help with the pain. So a knee sleeve will assist in creating compression to the knee and allow you to feel more stable and secure with your regular daily activities. And it can help with pain management. If we can help with pain management, it helps with joint irritation. If we help with joint irritation, it helps reduce effusion overall. So a knee sleeve will not get rid of your effusion, but it can assist in your overall healing by using a knee sleeve. Number 4, light reciprocal exercise. What is that? Holy smokes, what is that? So light non-weight-bearing reciprocal activity has demonstrated effectiveness in assisting in a return to routine tissue healing, thus reducing effusion. So reciprocal exercise, such as using a stationary bike, a recumbent bike, helps create non-painful, non-exacerbating type of activity with constant knee flexion and extension. So bending and straightening, bending and straightening, bending and straightening. The movements in this non-weight-bearing position will create what I call, quote unquote, here are my bunny fingers again, flushing. It creates this flushing effect to the knee and it assists in the overall reduction of effusion. So by using a recumbent bike with light resistance, something that you could do without pain or irritation, it creates a flushing effect overall. And the last one I have for you, number 5, is light quad activation exercises. So once the effusion is starting to reduce and pain continues to decrease, a great beginning to start with a return to full function is light quad strengthening, quad activation. We call these quad sets. These exercises are truly beneficial in allowing the quad muscle to regain proper activation. More than a few small amounts of fluid will begin to inhibit quad activation. And this is a protective mechanism of the knee. So anytime the knee starts to swell, it starts to send an inhibitory process to your quadricep, and that's the first muscle to start to atrophy or shrink. It's the first one. So it will need to be one of the first ones that we start to engage as your swelling starts to decrease in a non-painful and safe manner. So we'll start building back up. So again, top 5, rest, avoidance, knee sleeve, light reciprocal exercise, and light quad activation exercises. So overall, this is a great recipe for you. That if you're having knee swelling, knee effusion that occurs, you're getting more active in springtime, you're out and about, you're starting to garden, you're cleaning up around the house, the knee's starting to swell. What do? Here's a great top 5 tips to help you. Obviously, at any point, you can reach out to me, and it has my email at the bottom of this podcast as well. You can shoot on our website, sumnerpt.com, and go ahead and reach out to me. If you're confused on any of these, or you're not sure what to do about your knee, your swelling, we'd love to help you. Actually, we do a discovery visit as well. So this is a no-cost 20-minute, 30-minute, whatever it takes to just learn about you and the issue you have. We don't provide any treatment, but we give you the right advice to help you make the most of your healthcare decisions. So we just want you to make the best decision and help you in your lives. So if this is one way to do that, we will, and that's a consult. We do up to 5 of those every month for individuals that need them. So if you're in need of a discovery visit to find out what is currently going on with your knee and why you're getting swelling, feel free just to email me or fill out our page on our website. So, all right. When we return, we're going to get into the man of the hour. This is an individual that's been with us for quite a while now that is the powerhouse of our virtual personal training program. He is the mastermind behind building programs, executing awesome awesome exercises, and he's a guy that's fun to be around, has a great sense of humor, and I can't wait to get him into the hot seat in here so that we can rib him a little bit, but also learn more about him. So this coming right up after the break. Tyler Hansen, International Man of Mystery, when we return. And we are back to the show in the clinic podcast with Rob. And actually, we're with Tyler, as I had alluded to before the break, that we're going to have the International Man of Mystery on the show, the guy with multiple looks, the martial artist, Kung Fu Panda himself, that is here in the flesh, that I better be nice or else he'll go kadoosh on my pinky. Welcome to the show, Tyler Hansen.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Rob.
Are you offended by Kung Fu Panda, or are you a fan?
I actually thoroughly enjoy the movie.
Okay.
It's probably one of the only Jack Black movies I enjoy.
Only? I mean, Jack Black. I mean,
some of his movies, yeah, I just can't get behind some of his dorkier ones like Nacho Libre and whatnot. But
what about Jumanji?
I enjoyed Jumanji and I enjoyed School of Rock. Those ones
School
are
of
good.
Rock. Yes. School of Rock is a great one. So this kind of dovetails into my first discussion with you that has to be about your martial arts. Now, a lot of people don't know, unless I brag about you relentlessly, that you don't have one, but you have 2 black belts in martial arts.
Indeed.
Tell me about it.
So I started my martial arts career when I was 12 years old. I got into it when I was 7th grade. I kind of approached it the same way I did everything else I had up to that point, and I actually almost quit about 2 months into it. Kind of had a moment, even it was weird at 12 years old. I had a moment where I just decided to almost stop quitting things and decided I wanted to be good at something.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically put my head down for 5 years, almost 5 years, and trained, and my first accomplished my first black belt the summer between my senior year of high school. Kept training, and the system that I train under actually has multiple disciplines, so I was able to continue in the same style, just training a different discipline. About 5 years after my first black belt is when I achieved my second black belt. In the course of that time, I dabbled in a variety of other styles as well, so I think my count's up to 13 other disciplines I had played around with, but at the end of the day, the disciplines I have my black belts in is the style that I will be with for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Well, ever since you mentioned this, you've required me to call you sensei, and do I have to still keep doing that?
Well, I don't recall you ever requiring you to call me sensei.
Well, only when you have the tie on.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I thought that was Pastor Tyler.
Yeah. So it's a combo of Pastor Tyler and Sensei Hansen.
Okay.
So overall, no, ton of credit to you. I mean, getting a black belt in one discipline, but two, that's huge. It shows overall your dedication to it. I love the fact that it's just an asset to the personality that you are. I haven't seen it in action yet. I mean, I'd love to make that part of the video. Is you go in Kung Fu Panda, maybe on the bag downstairs. We got the punching bag downstairs. We can dress Randy up in one of those suits, protective suits, and you can just go crazy on him. It could be part of your mental health, is that we just wrap people in bubble wrap and you just get to go crazy on them. It'd be great.
The cool thing about those suits, I've actually got to use one of those before. They actually protect a lot.
Do they?
We were able to completely open up on someone and they barely even felt it. So.
What's the best lesson you learned from your martial arts?
I'd have to pick from a long list. Honestly, I think that probably the biggest one is, I'd say one of my biggest ones is being situationally aware and analyzing situations and not reacting. Because I think oftentimes it's very easy to look and just react to a situation instead of taking even a minute or two to process what's going on, let something unfold, and then following it up with a clearer head.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I definitely had a pretty bad temper, and I reacted and responded emotionally, and I think that was probably one of the biggest things that martial arts did that nothing else in my childhood was able to help with.
I love it. So let's segue from martial arts. If I don't know if you can pick up on the video, maybe we can get it close in the amount of shine that's coming off that beard. I mean, we're going to get into the beard oil in a minute, but what was the inspiration behind really growing a super awesome beard of late?
You're going to make me tell this story, huh? So I've always had some sort of facial hair growing up, but I actually shaved the whole beard off when COVID started. Just uncomfortable with the mask on and everything. Oh, you're going to make me tell this story. So I was at the gym.
This is all willingly.
So I was at there's only other one story to tell. Is the reason why I decided to grow the beard back. So I was actually at the gym across town, and I had a moment of, and I've always been told I had a baby face. So with the beard on, I actually look closer to my age. Without a beard, I look...
Which is what, 46?
Not quite there yet.
Oh, no? Okay.
31.
You have to trim back on the beard then.
Yeah, it's getting there. But without the beard, I look like I'm like 22.
Yeah.
So I was at the gym, and a couple girls walked in, and just like you do when you're walking around the gym, you're being observant of people in the gym. Well, I caught the eye of one of these young ladies as she was walking through the gym, a very blatant down and up with the look, and I had a moment of absolutely not. This can't keep nope. Because the moment she walked through the gym, it was these two young ladies were high school girls, are wearing Colville High School attire. So I'm like, nope, absolutely not. I'm growing the beard back. I'm gonna look. No more baby face. So
what you're saying is you had too much game. I mean, you're trying to dull it down. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, it was a moment of the beard has to come back. So I started the very next day, just basically stopped shaving, and I've always, and he's making fun of the shine, but I've always had problems with dry skin, but I figured out a system now. So now actually everything is all kept well together, and
it's a combination of coconut oil.
No, I actually found a product that actually works, and I found
some essential oils mixed with coconut oil.
No, I haven't quite got that far yet, but the product is pretty simple. So,
well, it looks like you got a new car recently. That looks just your style.
Yeah.
It's got the murder hornet look. Is that correct?
That's what we're going. That's the name I decided to go with, because
all right.
Everyone was referring it to the Bumblebee car.
It does. It has that Transformer Bumblebee look to it.
And I agreed, but the Bumblebee Transformer was a Camaro. So since this is a Challenger, I had to change it up a little bit.
Okay.
And kind of a nod back to the Murder Hornet issue back in 2020.
It's working good for you?
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
I love that car.
All right. For that 30 seconds you drive it from here from home, I'm glad you get it. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I might take a little bit of a longer route to get to work in the morning, so it makes it 30 to 60 seconds. But hey,
Okay.
it gets me to point A to point B, and I get to have fun doing it. So.
Well, I see that you're a guy that likes to express himself. And one is through your car, and the other way is through just a small tattoo that you have, a couple small tattoos.
A couple small ones.
A couple small ones.
So I don't know if my entire arm counts as small.
Yep, you've got some decorative artwork
mm-hmm.
down the entire right arm.
Right arm.
Usually when you're walking around here, it's with your shirt off, so we get to see it all the time. But explain to us kind of your expression there.
So the tattoo work has always been I don't know. I've always liked how tattoos look on people. I've always liked the story behind tattoos and why people get them, whether that be a simple story or a long, complex story. And it's always been something that I've always seen it as a form, like you said, self-expression. So it's a way for me to kind of show some of the things that I hold close to me, some of the things that I believe in, without actually verbalizing it. And I know from outside, if other people look at it, they're not going to know that, but it sparks a conversation.
Sure.
I've had multiple people come up to me and comment on my tattoos and ask me, why I got this or why I got that. And then it kind of just sparks a good conversation with a random person, and then go our separate ways. But
so how much longer until you get the Sumner PT logo tattoo?
I think I'm probably looking like at least 10 years.
Oh, 10 years. Okay. All right.
But,
well, I'll get the graphic logo ready for you then. So just tell me when you want that file.
Okay.
So we'll talk about it then. Anyways, let's switch gears. Fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a long history of fitness. You've done some personal training in the past. You've done your undergrad in exercise science. You've got an athletic training degree from Montana.
Montana.
Yep. And so you got a long history of a nice blend of schooling, but also real life experience in the gym, personal training people. Kind of walk through the listener that knows you, sees you on either our website, sees you on some of our social media stuff. For that person that's not really sure who you are and your background, why don't you let us peek behind the curtain?
So my journey in the fitness industry started when I was in high school. It basically was a pursuit to get myself stronger, to push my body outside of the martial arts, and just kept rolling with it. I started my degree in kinesiology at Washington State University. I was there for about 3 years before I ended up taking a hiatus to move to Florida to actually train martial arts down there. Ended up finishing my exercise science degree at Central about 3 years later. And I've always been interested in helping people. I mean, I've been teaching martial arts since I was about 15. And I've always loved to see the progression of watching someone go from that complete bare bones beginner, someone who's never stepped inside of a martial arts school, to all the way up to being a black belt, and that whole progression of watching their journey. And I thought to myself, how am I going to, maybe I can help people do this with the fitness side of things, because I was working on the same journey myself. So I got into personal training. I got certified. I have my degree, started coaching clients, started taking on clients. And I had some level of, whether it be working in a commercial setting or working privately, for about the last 10 years, depending on where I lived at the time, sometimes a little bit of both. And working mostly with general population, just people wanting to get in shape, wanting to have that general base level of fitness so they can move about their lives, so they could accomplish their activities daily, and so they can participate in the hobbies that they enjoy doing, and doing it pain-free. And then it's just built from that. And I've always had a little passion for working with athletes. So I found athletic training completely by accident, actually, and worked on my degree in that. And it's actually blended over very well to the fitness side of things when it comes to working with our clients that are post-injury, or they are, say, maybe they're in the later stages of life, they've never stepped foot inside of a gym, and they're battling movement restrictions or lack of strength, and it's helped a lot in that aspect as well.
So you have some personal training experience in the gym working for a facility, I believe, before you went to athletic training.
Mhm.
Tell me about that.
So when I was there, there was a couple facilities that I'd worked in prior to picking up athletic training. Um, it was a mix. Most of my clientele was fantastic. I worked predominantly with women, and there was a few men in there, but predominantly with women. I was essentially the unofficial strength coach for a women's roller derby team.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun. So I got to work with about 30 some odd women all at the same time for their conditioning to help them on the court or the rink. And while I was there, it was a lot of fun. It was really eye opening because that was kind of my first exposure to some of my clients that had um, really major movement concerns.
Yeah.
And that really kind of challenged me as a coach and as a trainer, because prior to that, most of my clients had been in their 20s and 30s
Mm-hmm.
and had been relatively able bodied. But in the gym that I was at when I was finishing my undergrad, it was my first real exposure to some of that
Sure.
demographic.
Okay. Well, that's one thing that I liked when you interviewed with us is your experience in the field of personal training itself, but also the athletic training, the movement background. It all really dovetailed into what we were looking to build here, which is our virtual personal training program. Tell me what you really enjoy about our virtual personal training program, and particularly helping people in that segment.
So I really enjoy a lot of pretty much the entire program itself. But one of the things I love about it is the ability to watch somebody from the moment they come in. I do my initial one-on-one with them. I can see how they're moving. I can see what they're, and I get their paperwork beforehand. So I always review it and see, if they've got previous injuries, if they're post-surgery, if they're, what their hobbies are, their goals, what they want to get out of the program. And then once we go through that first one-on-one, I can see how they're moving. I can see kind of where they are physically. And then every one-on-one that we have, and even just when they come in to work out, I'm downstairs, so I'm able to see them when they come in. But just watch them progress from where they were day one to where they are at their next one-on-one. And then every subsequent one-on-one, and every time I see them after that, I love watching that change and see them get stronger. And some of them, they're coming in the first couple of times, and you can see that they have that like, oh, I'm doing this because I have to, not because I want to.
Right.
And then I talk with them 3 or 4 months down the road, and they're at a point where they're like, oh, I love it.
Totally.
I'm digging this. I'm dialed in. I love coming into the gym. Before, I'll admit, I hated it. I didn't want to be here. But no, I love it now. I love coming in. I feel stronger. And then they get a taste of what that strength does for their daily life. And then it becomes, I don't want to say addictive, but almost addictive, where they're like, I want to see what I can do. I may be, 50, 60, 70 years old, but I've still got 20, 30, 40 years left.
Right.
And I want to be able to be strong for not just for myself, but for my family. And
you build a lot of the programs out for people that are customized and individualized for them. What's that one exercise that you love putting on their program that they're going to complain about later?
Ooh. I would say that varies a little bit for most people, but I'd say the one is definitely the Pallof Press.
Oh.
I love putting it in because it's a deceptively challenging exercise that when they see the video and I say, hey, this exercise is coming, I show them the video, they say, oh, that doesn't look too bad. And then I show them the technique of the exercise, and every single time it's, oh my God, that was so much harder than I expected.
My favorite's a burpee.
Oh, yeah.
They all complain about the burpee.
That and the mountain climbers. Mountain climbers is another one that always gets people.
So our virtual personal training, how is it different than other programs that are out there for people that they have the opportunity to do?
So one of the biggest things that's different about this is I am physically going through everybody's stats. So as people check in, as they check in their workouts, I can go through and see exactly what they did, how much they did, and I can make micro changes basically on the daily. I am constantly watching people's programs. I'm watching their progress. I can see how people are doing, and I'll follow up if they're doing they do great, I'm following up. If they're not doing great and I see there's kind of a lull, I'm following up with them, checking in. I'm basically right there beside our clients every step of the way, where some other personal training programs may basically write you out 6 weeks and say, hey, here you go, have fun. Let me know in 6 weeks.
Sure, yeah.
But this is I am physically at my computer. I am here every day watching people's programs. If there is something that they have questions on, they can send it into the app, and I will get to it right quick, if not within 24 hours, just so that way I can have a chance to look at it and review it. All my VPTers know that I'm literally a text message away,
right,
to have for any questions that they may have.
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest things, is we're super tight on communication with our VPTs.
You know, and that's one thing people want. They want that communication. They want that personal touch. They want that customization. And they want somebody that's really their advocate for them. And it sounds like you're consistently able to deliver with your communication, advocacy, keeping them accountable, and giving them a customized program. So, you know, who's sitting out there listening right now that's wondering, is this program for me? Who's kind of that perfect person that truly excels from the people that you work with, and you're going every time you have somebody that come aboard, you're like, wow, they're made for this program? Who would that be?
So the ones that I see that would fit that would be those individuals that they know they need a change. They know they see that they have I don't want to say a gap, but they know that there's something missing. They have something they need to address. The ones that are essentially they are aware, they've fully bought in. They know they need it. They know they need something, but they don't know where to start. They don't know how to get going, because the fitness industry nowadays is so inundated with so much information. It's paralysis by overanalysis.
Big time.
So the individuals that are looking at this program going, oh, I don't know if this is for me, but if you're dialed in, you know you need to make a change. You know you need to have something pushed forward, and you need someone to kind of help you and guide you and give you the guidance and the, like Rob was saying, the advocacy to essentially move you forward in that direction. Those are the ones that tend to excel the greatest in this program, are the ones that have that internal drive to push themselves push themselves forward.
Well, I'll tell you what, the feedback's there. People are loving what you're doing for them. You're able to support them, give them customized programs, and really be that person in their lives that coaches them, that really helps them. So you're doing fantastic. Switching gears a little bit, I know that being in the clinic enough, that you're a guy that loves to tell a good story. Where does your affinity for the gift of gab, the wanting to tell a good story, where does that come from?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I've always been a storyteller. I've always wanted to, like, I don't know, talk. I talk a lot. I do talk a lot, and there are some times where I need to remind myself.
Self-awareness, you know that. That's good.
I do talk a lot. There are times where I need to tell myself to shut up. But I enjoy sharing stories. I enjoy watching, I don't know, maybe watching people's facial expressions, watching, honestly, making people laugh. But long time ago, when I was working for DirecTV, nobody calls tech support because they're having a good day. Yeah. They always call tech support when they're angry. But I realized very quickly that if I can make a customer laugh one time, that makes the entire call 1,000 times easier. And even if the end result isn't exactly what they wanted when they called in, they're 99% of the time they weren't angry. Yeah. So I took that and I applied it to every single call. It's like, if I can make them laugh, especially the ones that came on super angry, if I can make them laugh once, we're doing good. Right. So I apply that to the rest of my life. So I do the same thing when I'm in the clinic. If I'm working with somebody brand new, I make it a mission to get them to smile or get them to laugh at least once before the end of our treatment.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're definitely doing that from working with patients in the clinic, from running the virtual personal training program, from being a great storyteller, and always giving us something to think about, from the murder hornet, the beard oil, the next tattoo. Yep. One thing that I will say about you, Tyler, you're never boring. Never born in, and I'll also note I'm happy for you that your wife is pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that you're progressing with your family growth. All in all, super pleased with what you bring to the table for the office, but also in just the joy that you bring in your own personality for all the people that you touch in here. So we truly thank you for that.
Thank you, Rob.
All right. Well, I appreciate you listening to In the Clinic with Rob. Again, thank you, Tyler, for coming aboard. And so I'll continue to tease him just enough to where he doesn't go Kung Fu Panda on me. So, all right. See you next time.